Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming out to Friday Night Comics. I am, of course, your host, the Bad Comic Reviewer, Jack. How is everybody today? I see Sir Amantine, Becca, Richo, thanks for coming out, Richo. And Zombie Teddy, thanks for coming out. Hey, Kat. It's good to see everybody. As usual, I thought we'd go over this week's comics. Hey, Evolved, how you doing? So this coming week has some pretty interesting offers for us, if that can be said that way. So let me just grab my sheet with my order on it, and we'll get right into this. Hey, Johnny. Hey, James. Hey, Sir Adamantine. How you guys doing? Hope everybody's having a good night. Hey, Ryan. All right, so here we've got next week's comics. And, of course, we start with Image. And I grabbed the wrong list of comics as I knock stuff over and make lots of noise. All right, so Image Comics. This is, of course, for next week, the week of the 17th. And we're on Previews World. This is what's supposed to be coming out. It's not always 100% accurate. Now, there's not a lot here. This Radiant Black, I liked the first issue, so I'm going to pick up issue 2. It's got some potential. This Noctera came out, a week or two ago. I've got the review ready. It's going to go live later tonight. If you're going to pick it up, get this one. This has the glow-in-the-dark variant, and it's the same price as the regular book. And who doesn't love glow-in-the-dark? If you grew up in the 80s, all the cool cereal toys were glow-in-the-dark. From Captain Crunch to Quisp. So I'm a big fan of that. It's a cheap gimmick for sure, but I liked it. And if you liked Waterworld, you're going to love this book because it's the same thing, but with darkness instead of water. This Ultra Mega looked interesting when I first heard about it, but there's two strikes against it. One, it looks very generic, and two is $8 for issue 1. I am not giving you $8 for an unknown property. If this was, a big special event on Captain America or from a company I trusted like Zenoscope, maybe I would be willing to throw that kind of money at a book, but $8 for a random Image comic? No way. Oh yeah, the glow-in-the-dark tiger posters. Those were cool. I remember blacklight stuff and glow-in-the-dark are always going to get me. That's my weak spot right there, because that's a gimmick I can get behind. Very nostalgic for that. Those old Iron Maiden posters that were blacklight, those were the coolest. My brother had a bunch of those. But that's really the only issues from Image that looked good. This Ultra Mega, I probably would have bought it if it was $4. Despite how stupid this cover looks, this one isn't that bad. But not $8. No way. The Walking Dead redos, I have no interest in. It was too slow of a book to pick up as individual issues. Now on to Dark Horse. With the retirement of one of their head guys, I have even less confidence in Dark Horse than I already did. And it's largely a bunch of trade paperbacks and republished stuff. Keyforge is a art book based on the trading card game. No real interest there. So not a lot here from Dark Horse that's really worth looking at. The first trade paperback of the Norse mythology came out. I've got the first 3 issues, and I don't know. It just really didn't wow me. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't that great. I'll have to reread them before I release the review, but I'm not spending $30 on that. The only thing here that I'd be interested in is these Usagi Ojimbos. The hardcover is signed, which is really cool, but it's $80. Yeah, that's not happening. $30 is a bit high end for me. So that's not happening either because I don't have that kind of money. Hey, Monkey, how you doing? Yeah, Dark Horse was really good back in the day when they were doing the Predator stuff, and even their superhero stuff like Ghost was great. But man, they have gone so SJW, and their paper quality is worse than Marvel's now, which is saying something. So it's sad how far down they've gone. IDW has become one of my defaults because they usually have books I will read, even if they are licensed materials. But this G.I. Joe book is total garbage. Don't bother. That's not the fun G.I. Joe. This is the everybody's a soy latte drinking femboy that is afraid of everything, and it's really boring. The G.I. Joe Real American Hero is Larry Hama, and it's much, much better, even if they've made changes I don't particularly care for. This Star Wars stuff looked okay, but I'm still not willing to risk it because I've read a few of their Star Wars books and I wasn't impressed. I've got 2 issues of Smuggler's Run sitting here. That's as close as I'm getting to getting into a new Star Wars series. I've heard that Year 5 got good again, but like I said, I kind of gave up on that. TMNT, I am going to pick that up, even though I'm like 30 issues behind, probably more. Just because it might be good, I'm going to give it a chance. But if it's director's cut, I was interested in, but I already paid $8 for the first issue. And it's sort of the Dark Knight Returns of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey, Mr. Yes. So I'm willing to say if you haven't read issue 1, this would be a good jumping on point. They did such a low print run on the regular issue that if you missed that, this might be a good way to get in it. Plus, there's going to be some bonus stuff. Transformers Back to the Future, I'm going to buy that. I got the first 2 issues. I haven't read them yet, but the premise is awesome. Their crossovers have been really good at IDW, so I'm willing to give that a go. Sight unseen. Now, on to Marvel. No. Black Knight, I ordered because I like the Black Knight, but it's probably not going to be very good. But I'm going to take the chance. I don't like the cover art. I think it's a little too anime for me, a little too manga. See if it'll load up. If my internet's been really garbage today, so if I cut out, I might be back in 30 seconds. So I don't like the mouth here. See, there's no lips. Nobody knows how to draw lips anymore, and that is one of my biggest complaints because it's a manga thing that is getting way too much love for some reason. And it drives me up a wall. I can't stand that. It makes people look really, really weird. But I'll pick this up because I like the Black Knight, and it might be a good story. Not holding my breath. EC Comics had Tales from the Crypt Zombie. And they've been reprinted a few times in collected editions. And I think it was Gladstone reprinted some of them years and years ago as single issues. And those were pretty cool. Screw new Captain Britain, I would agree with for sure, Dr. Functional. Yeah, pretty much, Okie. Everybody's got their mouth open like they're a bunch of mouth breathers, which, if you have like sinus issues or something, I can understand. But all of the Marvel issue cannot have sinus issues. It's really sad. So it's just too many artists are unwilling to learn something new. They have higher egos than they probably should because a lot of them aren't that good. The Captain America Anniversary Tribute looked really good. It's reprinting a bunch of old stuff. I don't like that they lazily just did yet another rendition of Avengers issue 4 because this cover's been done multiple times with Captain America. Stupid mouse wheel. So I was a little dismayed by that, and his mouth looks really weird here. Again, learn to draw mouths. If your proportionality's off, I'll give you a little bit of leeway on that. Not like 1990s Rob Liefeld leeway, but I'll give you a little bit of leeway. But if you can't draw lips, That's almost unforgivable to me. But $7 for a reprint, I don't think so. This is just reprinting new stuff, and I'm not interested in spending that kind of money because $7, you're already on your way to buying a Marvel Masterworks edition. Speed Racer, his teeth must have just looked like a mosquito net. Yeah, I agree, Evolved. If you're going to do heavy detailing, you have to be able to do the full detailing. Otherwise, this just looks lazy. At least admit that you can't do lips well, and maybe I'll give you a little more credit. But beyond that, no. So I'm not spending $7 on the Captain America book. Maybe if I can find it at a discount or get a scratch and dent copy. But beyond that, not going to happen. Champions, yeah, I don't think so. Captain Marvel, definitely no. Iron Fist, I've been really liking this series. Larry Hama's writing it. It definitely has a much more old 80s style feel to it. Somebody's going around trying to steal the hearts of dragons so they can unleash this wave of evil. And it's been pretty good. The first 2 issues are really good. I think I've got the first review up. The second one I just finished. That'll probably be up in a few days. But this is a really, really fun series, and I was really shocked by how good it was. I expect it to be the typical Marvel trash, but it's actually good. Very old school. So a lot of stuff happens, and Taskmaster is in it, and he is not treated like an idiot. So I'll be picking that one up. Iron Man's garbage, which is really sad because they've had some pretty cool ideas on the covers, but it's just been hot trash. King in Black Spider-Man I'll probably pick up because I've got all the other King in Black stuff that I wanted to, even though it's written by Jed McKay, who I don't trust. He is very hit and miss. And that cover is hot garbage. Look at that. What is going on here? So I'm going to probably pick that up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very good, sadly. These official handbooks are awesome, but you can find the originals for like $1 in back issue bins. So I don't know why I'd spend $150 on that because I could get way better omnibuses for that kind of money and cheaper on other places. Star Wars Bounty Hunters, nope, it's garbage. Thor, I've heard good things, but I'm not willing to take the chance. I've been burned by that book too many times. Trials of Ultraman, I am going to pick up because I like Ultraman, and they're really kind of getting into more of actual adventure type stuff. The first miniseries was just origin retelling, and they've updated it, which is pretty good. It's coming out in trade paperback with this awesome Alex Ross cover. I've got the single issues, but I'll probably get the trade paperback so I can give the issues to one of my friend's kids. That's only $18. I'd be willing to do that. It was a 5-issue miniseries at $4 a piece. So it's actually slightly cheaper. Yeah, Spidey cover sucks. You should see the interior art. Usually the covers are better. Yeah, I've heard King in Black is good. I'm a little behind on Venom, though. So I haven't read it because I wanted to catch up on my Venom books. And I'm only on issue 20 of Venom. And it's all kind of leading into King in Black, so I didn't want to ruin it. Unfortunately, Spider-Man has been garbage for a way too long of a period. So I've been avoiding Spider-Man as much as possible. But Rise of Ultraman was good. Trials of Ultraman should be pretty decent. It's at least readable, which is a sad state of affairs when you have to describe a mediocre Marvel book as readable. X-Force, I'm not reading that trash. X-Men books are garbage, except X-Men Legends. The first issue was really, really fun. And I hate Fabian Nicieza, so that's saying something. But that one takes place more along 90s continuity and with 90s style art, so there's that. On to Dynamite. There's a bunch of limited edition covers which are way overpriced. $89 for the CGC thing. That's a scam for speculators. So don't, unless you're, if you think you're going to make your money back on these, I hate to break the news to you, it's not going to happen. One of these days I'll have to do a stream just on speculating because and how it ruined a lot of the industry in the 90s. But it's just a scam to get you to buy them for supposedly rare covers. Unless you really, really love the cover and you're going to cherish it like it's a newborn child, I don't see the point. I'm not wasting $50 on a JPEG, which is all it is. You're buying it for the cover. The interior is exactly the same. It's just not worth it. It's just a scam to milk you out of $50. And they sell enough of these, they get people to buy them. So they do a little print run. The interior pages are all the same. So it's just free money to them. It's nuts. $100. And the only difference is the cover is red as opposed to the regular cover. It's stupid. Dark Powers is trash. Don't bother. So that's about it. There's a couple of Vampirella books and a bunch of overpriced hot garbage. So nothing in Dynamite appeals to me this week. Speculation buyers also sort of kept comic companies alive in the 90s, as much as I hate to say that. Yeah, you're not wrong. Mainly that was because of X-Men issue 1. It had 5 covers and a hot team on it. You had Jim Lee doing the covers, and he was huge at the time. So, of course, that really helped reinforce terrible ideas to Marvel. And you started seeing like regular issues of the Avengers that were foil embossed in all one color, and they were $4 instead of $1.75. It was a big scam. And they sold a lot. There were a lot of dum-dums that went out and bought that crap. And it kept Marvel alive, but it also gave them a lot of really bad ideas. Now, Boom doesn't have a lot here for me. This Orcs book is supposed to be fun. It doesn't appeal to me at all. But it's supposed to be some sort of silly thing. Just not for me. This Draken Power Rangers book, I don't really have an interest in that. It probably does relate to what's going on in Power Rangers now, but I might pick up the trade later down the line when it's cheaper. Wildcat animated series. I never watched the original. I've heard they're doing a new Wildcats thing. The cartoon looked better than the comic. The comic had potential, but Liefeld's not much of a writer. Yeah, if you guys could hit like, of course, I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Monkey, for that. Donate to Jack. Oh, thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. That's really awesome of you. An Orcs comic and the word silly should never be in the same sentence. Yeah, well, they've treated Orcs like a silly joke last couple of years. And now with the whole racial thing being added onto it for some asinine reason, I don't even know. They're just trying to make everything ludicrous and silly so that you don't take anything seriously. So they got to destigmatize or some nonsense. It's more ruining of pop culture. Yeah, you're right, BG. They did make things like the Clone Saga stretch out a lot of story arcs, and they milked it for all it was worth. The Clone Saga went on like 2 years too long. That should have been a 6-issue miniseries or maybe a 12-issue series. They still could have had a jump between all the books, but it really just became a distraction and a giant waste of time. And you can tell the writers had no idea where to go with things. It was sad and stupid. I would like to get these Muppet figures, Muppet action figures of Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker. Who doesn't want that in their collection, right? But I'm not spending $25 on it. I can't afford that. Yeah, James, I haven't read the storyline, but I've heard good things. I'm just going to wait because I am so far behind on Power Rangers. I was missing like 3 or 4 issues of the regular Mighty Morphin series, and then I missed a whole ton of Go-Go Power Rangers. So I am way behind on those. But I would like to get caught up because there's some really cool stuff. And the new series is supposed to be really, really good. Ryan Parrott's doing one of the books, and he is a really good Power Rangers writer. Pretty good comic writer all around. They do have a Swedish Chef figure coming out. I don't know if it's out yet, BG, and I would absolutely love to get one. Fozzie's my favorite too, Zombie. He was serious. What indie books? This Air War Stories looked cool. It's just Air War Stories. They're kind of loosely based on real events, supposedly, but I haven't read it. I've heard good things though. It's Alive does some pretty good stuff, but they kind of screwed me over on an Airboy issue, so I'm not real eager to give them $10. So otherwise, I probably would have bought it if they weren't completely jackasses about getting Airboy out on time. Airboy 52 is still not out. They had a Go-Go Power Rangers Austin Powers crossover. If they didn't, I want one now. I didn't know I needed something like that in my life. Comic Historian, I don't like that guy. I don't like the way he does. I think he ruins comics for people because he tells you the whole storyline. And I don't like that. Plus, he's kind of an ass on Twitter. So I don't watch him. I don't like the guy. I think he's arrogant and annoying. But a lot of people seem to really like his work. So you do you. Just not my thing. I had a Fozzie plushie as a kid, too. Somebody stole it, though. Yeah, when they brought Marguerite Bennett onto the Power Ranger books, I really lost interest, and that's why I haven't read those. I haven't read either book series because of her. I don't like her work. I think she's an incredibly mediocre writer. A lot of these just aren't appealing to me, and I'm not buying autographed crap. I'm not giving you $80 to sign your name to something. That's stupid. This erratic is supposed to be good, but it's from the people that just do movie treatments. So wait for the trade paperback. It'll be cheaper. It'll be $10. The Goon looks really good, but again, that's $18. That would buy me several other books. So I'm going to have to wait. I want to get volume 1 anyway. Horror Comics in black and white. That looks like it might be good. It's Antarctic Press, so it's roll the dice. But I'm not going to pick that up. She's just jealous of how awesome it was, James. I Walk with Monsters. I'm not buying that. It looked like some hippie nonsense. King in Yellow graphic novel could be really good, but I'm not spending $14 to find out. Land Before Time, or Land That Time Forgot, rather. Land Before Time was a different thing. Land That Time Forgot, issue 2. I am going to pick that up. It's American Mythology Productions. Their art tends to be a little on the new side and rigid looking, but they do really good stories and they do adaptations of a lot of stuff I do like. So I will buy it just based on that. It's $4. Austin Powers is the new Zordon. Oh man, I don't know about that. A team up would be good, but I don't think I want to see Austin Powers in any position of power, especially because there's teenage girls involved. That might get creepy. I'm Standing on 1,000 Lives. I didn't read that. I assume that's one of the Mengers. Maniac of New York is pretty good, especially if you liked Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, because it's basically the same thing. They've changed a few things in issue 2 to make it a little more interesting. It was a good story, but it's effectively the first 3/4 of Jason Takes Manhattan. So if you like that premise, it's gonna be for you. Muhammad Ali, I don't care about a comic book on that. Midnight Western Theater might be okay, but I'm probably not going to get it. Scout Comics is a mixed bag. Red Atlantis, I heard a lot of bad things about that, but I am going to pick up the Robin Hood Cult of the Spider one-shot. Zenoscope is moving toward one shots and micro series of like 1 and 2 parts. And they're thicker books. It'd be nice if they were perfect bound for like an extra $1. That'd be worth it. But at $6, you are getting about 2 comics worth of stuff. They're usually around 40 to 48 pages. And I like their work quite a lot. It's like old style 80s and 90s comics in the good way. So since they're entertaining and they're longer, I don't have a problem. Smaller presses usually cost more, at least from my youth. So I'm used to kind of paying a little extra for that. I might have to check that out, Evolved. But yeah, it would have to be a review that I do on the Patreon because I can't do manga on the YouTube channel. There's too much chance they'll try and strike it. Yeah, it's updated. What Zenoscope does is they take a lot of the public domain stuff and adapt it either to modern times or set in the worlds of Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz, because they have the whole Wonderland Grimm universe where it's like the Grimm fairy tales, and they do a lot with the settings of Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz. But they also have a lot of books that take place in the U.S. or Earth, I should say. And Robin Hood is more of a Green Arrow type. She's a rich archer. So it's absolutely pretty interesting. James. So yeah, it's pretty fun. A lot of the Zenoscope stuff is definitely worth checking out because it's written by people that actually care about comics as opposed to the people that think they're just going to break into Hollywood. This book was hot trash. Savage. It's they took the concept of Turok and flipped it. So he started out on a dinosaur world and came to the US. Oh, and he's British. It's written by Max Bemis, who's a complete hack. So yeah, I regrettably read the first issue and I canceled my order for issue 2 because it's so stupid. So stupid. There's more social media references in there than anybody needs to see. It's just total trash. Plus, they had some dinosaurs ripping a clock tower and using it to play baseball. Seriously, baseball. It was stupid. They Fell from the Sky looked really dumb. There's a lot more manga and anime type stuff. Vamp Blade is just skin flick stuff. Not really my thing. Very popular for some reason with some of the guys at the comic shop I go to. And that's really about it. It's a pretty light week. Let's see, there's some books that I'm not going to buy. And then the magazines. That's really about it. Trading cards. You got new Garbage Pail Kids coming out for 2021. But, $2.50 a pack that's ridiculous. American McGee. I didn't read those. I only know about them because one of my friends read them. I've heard mixed things from other people. My friend really liked them, but I don't really trust his judgment. He's got kind of poor taste. It just wasn't something that appealed to me, so I never read it, so I can't give a fair review of it. It doesn't surprise me. It's just that you can see real boobies, so why would you spend $4 for a comic book of boobies? That seems a little weird to me. So I never really got that. But the first news article I've got here is about Jim Steranko, legend that he is. This guy's awesome. He got in trouble for referring to the COOF as the Chinese pandemic. I didn't realize how based this guy was. I always thought his art was cool because he did a lot of cool psychedelic stuff with Nick Fury back in the late 60s. And it was way ahead of its time. He'd do sideways panels, these big hypnotic looking things, very psychedelic. But he apparently is well rested because he ain't woke. And Bounding's got this article. There should be a link in the description. But you can see some of his art here. For the time, it was really, really far ahead. They still had limited color schemes that they could use, but you could kind of see the realism look to it that he made go for it. And you never see a bare-chested guy riding a motorcycle shooting guns in a comic anymore. They'd be sitting around talking about their feelings. Yeah. So Stranko's work is known by comic fans and collectors around the globe, especially for his Shield work in 1968. Why do all these ads autoplay? That's really annoying. Outside of his work on Nick Fury, Stranko also provided interior and cover work for both DC and Marvel. Blah, blah, blah. He did heavy metal as well. And there's some of the art. This is the type of stuff that Kirby was doing. And Stranko took it to some pretty crazy extremes. If you ever get a chance to check out his Nick Fury stuff, it is really, really different than what they were doing with other books at the time. He was way ahead of his time. If he had Photoshop back then, it would have been even more crazy. And he tweeted, "The Chinese pandemic has stolen a year of our lives. I've felt it as much as anyone. Those who know me and have hung out with me at shows knows the importance I lay on personal appearances and connecting at gigs with fans from every corner of the U.S. We'll be ready when you are. So good for him. And of course, Kwanzaa Osajeffo, the guy that wrote the comic book about how only black people can have superpowers, he of course was upset about this and calling racism. Seriously. And leading attacks on Asians? No, he didn't say anything about that. That's stupid. Instead of spreading spoiled mayo across the internet, consider why a country as, quote, great as the U.S. didn't protect its citizens from a virus. How do you protect... Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. But he calls Stranko a racist and then uses a derogatory racial slur against him. That's Kwanzaa. That's our Kwanzaa. Wah, wah, idiot. Kirby fought in World War II, where we were fighting the Japanese, and they had a lot more derogatory things than saying that it came out of a disease came out of China. So, shut up, Henry. You're an idiot. Now, this guy actually might be onto something. He said, "No kidding, making those personal appearances are so important, Jim, yet you torpedoed your chances of doing many of them for the foreseeable future by making an openly racist declaration." Now, he's onto something in that Stranko probably will be canceled from a lot of appearances because of this. And that's bullshit. He shouldn't be, because it's not racist, and only people like Bob here are going to be upset by it. Everybody else will be like, well, he's not wrong. So, unfortunately, it probably will cost Stranko some work, but good for Jim Steranko. There's a blue check mark. Tony Lee, whoever that is. Jesus, Jim, I know we've lost a year of our lives, but naming it that is reckless and quite honestly sad to see, considering your platform. Happy to chat to you about how casual racism isn't needed anymore. No, you're happy to lecture him. Shut up. Say whatever he wants, you bigot. So, yeah, they're going to work on canceling him. Yeah, thankfully Peter Simeti did step up. Simeti can be a mixed bag at times, but he does seem to be a pretty strong believer in free speech, and good on him. Yeah, blue check. Anytime I see a blue check mark, they're more likely than not to be considered a D-bag. But good on Simeti for kind of standing up for him here. That was really cool. So on to the next one, because I think we got the idea here. The X-Men reboot, The Mutants, in development at Marvel Studios. I think I talked a little bit about this last week. But seriously, they're going to reboot the X-Men as The Mutants, probably because of this evil penis haver word here. Oh, hey, Johnny. Hey, Hazmat. Sorry, I can't do all of this at one time. It's very complicated. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, the rumor is that the X-Men movies are going to be originally known as the Mutants when they start up again. I hope that's wrong, but that's the rumor going around. Apparently, it started with this guy, the Illuminati, and it's been making the rounds since. So be on the lookout for that. If they start that crap, we'll know which direction the MCU's taking because it's getting woke. That's kind of all I wanted to say there. And next up, if things work the way they're supposed to, all the links for the articles should be in the description if you guys want to check them out, along with a link to my Streamlabs, and that subscription button's down there too. Yeah, New Mutants kind of tanked. I heard there was some good nudity in there, but I haven't seen it. I've heard so many bad things, I just lost all interest in it. Oh, Discord moderator's probably the worst on that list, Hazmat. Yeah, it is stupid evolved, but that's what wokeness gets you, because they don't care about the IP, because most of these people won't stay at a company long. They just want to destroy it and move on to the next town. They're like sinister snake oil salesmen. So the Star Wars nonsense, the latest, is that they have a rock named Geode. And he's a navigator. How he navigates with no eyes or mouth or hands, he's just a rock. But he works on a ship called the Vessel. Yeah, cultural locus, exactly. So yeah, Geode, the Geode is the rock. He's in this new High Republic crap. He's introduced in Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, which I do not recommend getting. This looks just lazy. It's really, really lazy. See, is the picture on this one? I got a rock. That should be Charlie Brown right there. I don't know what they're doing over there, but it's... yeah, here's the concept art. Yeah, that's Geode, the navigator. I have a whole bunch of these action figures I discovered out in my garden one year. They're just buried there like ET cartridges. Those might have just been normal rocks, so I'm not sure. What are they thinking? How do you market this? How do you market a rock? Like, all right, guys, we're going to try and go for a reboot of the Pet Rock, but in space. So this is just another demonstration of how incredibly incompetent the Star Wars story group is, and how they care so little about their projects that they're willing to make a character a rock, whether it's to subvert expectations or any other excuse they come up with. This is lazy trash. I could find an average first grader that could come up with a more interesting character than a rock. Seriously. I don't even know what the hell they're thinking here. No, they don't know anything about Star Wars and they don't care. The ones that do hate it, from what I could tell. Yeah, they think he's the new Chewbacca. They really were proud of this until they got ratioed and took this image down. Yeah, you're probably not wrong, Pete. It probably is a better character than Rey. Yeah, it's just a rock named Geode, which implies there's something inside, but I doubt it. I doubt they even knew what the definition of that. Johnny Toilet Paper Roll would probably be better than Geode, because at least you could draw a little face on it, and it would have more characteristic than background setting piece. And that's not even a good drawing of a rock. You could have made it interesting, like put some lava veins in there or some gems or something. It doesn't even have like a gem face like the Gnome King would from Wizard of Oz. No, you can't do that. Can't make it interesting. Kind of hard to subvert people's expectations whenever one has none for them. That's very true. Dwayne The Rock Johnson would have been more interesting because at least he could wrestle something. What in an emergency, if they get boarded by troopers, does someone just pick Geode up and throw it at them? I don't understand the point of this. This is dumb concept art. No, this is lazy. Lazy. Idiots. So Star Wars is going to be a waste of money for Disney. They've just bought it to destroy it. Meanwhile, Frank Thorne, the legendary Red Sonja artist, has passed away at 90. It's a real shame, too. Talented man. Brought us a lot of good 70s, 80s stuff. Hey, remember these things? These chainmail bikinis that held things? I think they were called boobs. We used to see them a lot in comics. Now women don't look like women. They look like effeminate men. Why does every character now look like a 15-year-old Mark Paul Gosselaar? I'm curious about that, seriously. Yeah, they have Wookiees with lightsabers in there, Greg. I would have a problem with a Wookiee with a lightsaber if the story was interesting, but they don't have any interesting stories. They're just like, we got to give this to this guy for equity or whatever. Yeah, Evolved. See, that's in the extended universe, or what they're calling Legends now, and we can't use that. They don't like that. It's not even a rock that transforms like the Transformers rock men, or rock people, whatever they were called. Or there was a couple of Masters of the Universe ones, I think, too, that were rock people. They didn't have anything like that. Not like Ben Grimm rock. No, it's just literally a hunk of rock. Yeah, they could have crystal people like from Crystar or magma people. That'd be interesting. Wooden lightsaber. A whip lightsaber would be cool. But no, they got to make it dumb. Let's just take something and make it stupider. But this guy passing away is a big loss. Very talented man. See if they get any of his art. Yeah, see, he made Red Sonja both powerful and sexy. And I totally agree with that. And it's his style is what a lot of people do for cosplay and mimic. Yep, did the 15-issue series from 77 to 79. Those were good. The artist went on to create several erotic fantasy comics, including Moonshine McJugs for Playboy. He also did some work for Heavy Metal and National Lampoon. You've probably seen his art before and didn't even know it. So very talented man. It's a real loss to the community. So big bummer on there. Rest in peace, Frank Thorne. All right, the last article I had was the Disney CEO. See, Disney had a little phone call the other day with the stockholders. And Bob Chapek got straight up asked by somebody about the Gina Carano firing and what the hell is going on with Kathleen Kennedy. And he gave the worst possible answer he could have because he's dumb. Yeah, Okie, that's more creative than they're capable of. I'm sorry, that won't work. They'd be jealous and upset. So we can't have that. Boob missiles. Yeah, I'd read that. How does a Wookiee with a lightsaber not burn their hair? That's a suspension of disbelief. The only good news of Disney is the park might open up soon. I can finally get my job back. Hey, man, good luck. I hope so, because they've been really screwing the pooch and screwing over their employees. All the executives get bonuses, and they put a big middle finger and lay off a bunch of employees. It's garbage. They didn't think that one through. But they also didn't expect pushback on the firing of Gina Carano. And the fact that it got asked on a stockholder call is a big deal because you know that person probably had to lie about what their question was just to get through. And he danced around a little bit, but he did give an update. During the question and answer portion of the meeting, Chapek confirmed that Star Wars is dead and Lucasfilm will continue to be a stain on the company. Chapek's comments were brought to our attention by Twitter user Larina Creole, who responded, "Someone has just asked about firing Kathleen Kennedy's ass at the stockholder meeting." And there is audio recording of this apparently out there. I heard part of one of the questions. I forget which one, though, because there were a couple of interesting questions on this thing. In fact, George from San Antonio, Texas, asked Chapek, are you guys looking to fire Kathleen Kennedy or asking her to resign and promote somebody like Filoni or Favreau or both to the co-counsel? Favreau should absolutely be more in charge of this. He has done more to salvage Star Wars than anyone else. Chapek responded, we've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the kind of creative talent in our company, the likes of Kathleen Kennedy running Lucas. And we look forward to having Kathy directing the activities of the entire Lucasfilm organization for many years to come. I just showed you a rock, and that's what they came up with. You're telling me this lady here wants to come up with more creative things like pet rocks? Come on. I don't think they have the COVID in space. So yeah, that's a big deal. While Chapek can praise Kennedy all he wants, the cold hard numbers show Kennedy is nowhere near the creative talent that Chapek claims she is. Kennedy has fired numerous directors from Star Wars projects, often after they've already filmed stuff. Rise of Skywalker was supposedly like 75% filmed when she canned the team that was working on it and brought in new people. And it sounds like, from what the reports are, there's 7 or 8 versions of that movie out there. And we have no idea how much that actually cost them to do stuff like that. But they've got like 7 or 8 movies worth of stuff filmed for that. Ridiculous. She is solo and then brought in Ron Howard to fix it, supposedly, and release that mid-grade whatever. It was a C movie at best. Kennedy brought in Tony Gilroy to fix Rogue One. She dismissed Phil Lord and Chris Miller from Solo and replaced them with Ron Howard. She then canned Colin Trevorrow from Episode 9, which eventually became Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams, who's a hack and should never be touching franchise stuff. And those are the projects that were actually completed. She also canned Josh Tank from Boba Fett. And more recently, she had to have the entire Obi-Wan Kenobi show rewritten after she claimed scripts had been completed when the show was announced. So most likely she wanted to fit more agenda into Obi-Wan Kenobi. And if that show takes place with Darth Vader like they're saying, it ruins what they were saying in Episode 4, where he's like, a presence I haven't felt in a very long time. It's only been 20 years between the fall of the Republic and A New Hope. Ridiculous. Yeah, they're keeping the woke bitch. They don't give a crap. Disney is so much better that they themselves call canon to take from rock people from a Disney comic in 2019. Yeah, they don't care. They don't read their own material, dude. They just don't care. I think at best we can hope for BG is that they don't extend her contract. I don't think she'll be fired. At worst case scenario, she gets her contract expired, and then she still has a bunch of ties to Lucasfilm through her subsidiary companies that she runs that are doing movies and stuff like that with Lucasfilm. Because, nepotism, what's that? Now, of course, the numbers on these movies has been going down pretty considerably. Last Jedi only grossed $1.332 billion, whereas Force Awakens did $2 billion. Rise of Skywalker did even less with $1 billion. And a lot of the money is not coming from China like they seem to think it would, even though they've been pandering to them, like filming near concentration camps and minimizing Finn. So it's just not doing well. They don't have the cultural icon nature of Star Wars in Asia. Like, the Japanese seem to like it pretty well, but Chinese audiences aren't connected to it. So they just see these as like mediocre space franchises. They don't really care. It's a Jedi high heel. Nice. Yeah, Disney really needs to clean house. They really, really do. And they need to fire a bunch of people. Well, the numbers clearly show Kennedy has not done a good job shepherding Lucasfilm and Star Wars. It appears Disney is sticking with her for the long haul. Don't expect Star Wars to improve anytime soon, whether that's with the horrible people they employ or the bankrupt creative storytelling. I could not agree more. When he was asked about now we're getting into the firing of Carano. David from Alexandria, Virginia asked, "It's clear that the new blacklist punishing conservatives in the entertainment industry. Disney Plus actors Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano tweeted similar analogies of current political events to Nazi Germany. Yet only Carano, who is considered a conservative, was fired from The Mandalorian regarding Disney and a blacklist. This is the way?" Nice reference. Chapek, whose tone of voice notably changes in response to the question, says, "I don't really see Disney as characterizing itself as left-leaning or right-leaning, yet instead standing for values that are universal, values of respect, values of decency, values of integrity, and values of inclusion. Really, like the inclusion of Uyghur Muslims into the camps in China where you went to film in the province near the camps. Fuck off, Chapek. You have no standing to say you stand for values when you are filming in a place with concentration camps where you minimize a black person on a poster to not offend the Chinese audiences because of their racism. Fuck off with that crap, dude." So that is the biggest load of bullshit. I would honestly have a vote of no confidence for this man if I was a stockholder, like a major stockholder. Because saying crap like that after they pulled those stunts, screw them. He continues, "And we seek not only how we operate, but the content that we make reflective of the rich diversity of the world we live. And I think that's a world we all should live in harmony and peace." Oh, like the peace of those concentration camps where people are getting their organs harvested and raped. Yeah, fuck off. Some wonder his voice changed while answering the question because he straight up lied to David, one of Disney's investors. If Disney actually valued inclusion, they would not have fired Carano via social media and lied about her in a press statement. Very true. To talk about valuing respect, Chapek showed none to David and exposes that his words are empty. It's clear Disney does not believe any of the values Chapek claims to. The firing of Carano proves the opposite. And the way he's being demeaning to the caller tells you what they think of their stockholders and investors. Remember, Carano found out from a press statement and social media. They never actually talked to her. And she said that. I think she said that on the Sunday special on Ben Shapiro's show. As for inclusion, they obviously don't believe that. As David from Alexandria points out, both Carano and Pascal posted analogies to World War II, but Carano was fired. Pascal's analogy wasn't even correct because he said this is America and used a photo of kids in cages that were Palestinian children. They weren't even in America. So his analogy didn't even work. Hers, well, they proved her right by what they did. So I guess hers is actually relatable. Oh, speaking of which, they also didn't wish Carl Weathers a happy birthday or James Earl Jones, but they wished other cast members of other movies who weren't black, and the one racist sounding lady that was crying about white people. She gets protected. As part of his answer, Chapek stated, "I also say that I think the fact that we have a tremendous opportunity now going forward to bring this country back together and unite people under a common vision of Disney magic and what's good with this world, unless you have the wrong political opinion or you're a Uyghur, because then you're in some serious, serious trouble." So that actually made me really angry when I read what he said and heard clips of it, because he's a disingenuous liar and he's a shitbag, and Disney cannot be trusted. If they're willing to lie to their stockholders and investors like this over something as trivial as this, he could have just said, "Well, we were moving forward. We went another direction." No, he's like, "No, we have values and we're not political." The hell you aren't. How far to the left are you that you think firing somebody like this is acceptable. They're big on cancel culture in Disney, and I would be very, very careful if I work. I'm not a big Disney fan these days, and all their subsidiaries from Marvel and Lucasfilm have all demonstrated their political bias. He can lie all he wants, but eventually these lies do catch up, and it has been showing in the way people are responding. Even mainstream media have picked up these stories now, and they're not getting the praise they're used to. I don't think they expected backlash on this level. Yeah, well, I guess that's true, BG. She did go against them by telling the truth when they were being big fat liars. So I guess that's accurate. But that enraged me, so I wanted to share. But that's really all I had today. I figured we'd go about an hour, and it looks like I was pretty close to correct. So let's see what we've got here. Oh, I figured it out. It's the Disney charter left by Walt. Once every 100 years, Disney has to uphold and wash the balls of a terrible murderous fascist receiving culture. Well, at least Walt was opposed to communism and did turn over names of suspected communists in his company, and he really didn't like Hitler very much. So I'll at least give him a little bit of credit on that. He would have done a little bit of pushback. Oh, sorry, I missed that, Johnny. Over on the Streamlabs. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Technically, the internment camps are peaceful on the outside. Yeah, that's because of all the guns. So, yeah. But thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. Did you see Marvel's biggest comic so far this year is the Deadpool Manga? I did see that. I haven't read it yet. The news chapter is 3 times as many. You read the biggest one. Wolverine #1 was trash, man. The 1980s series was way better. Just go buy those. Save yourself the money. Marvel has just been screwing the pooch so bad. It looks like Disney's hot on their, or DC rather, is hot on their heels with the social justice woke crap. It's really disappointing. Yeah, BG, you're not wrong. They've been cutting way back on the freebie stuff. So that's pushing a lot of people away. Plus, a lot of the Instagram and blog influencers can't go to the park, and that was keeping a sunny look on them because they're always, promoting it and saying nice things. So that would counterweight some of the negative press, and they would be able to bury it easier, just with a flood of positives. And now with the parks shut down, at least limited visibility, a lot of people have kind of moved away from that or just not been able to keep up with it. So they can't go as much. And that really hurts them because they have to go get grown-up jobs. And then Disney can't cover up the lies anymore. So yeah, their bribery aspect is probably gone. Whether it's just like, here's some free cupcakes, or just burying it in positive press from the show media. Yeah, I think some of the shine is coming off. Darwin Cook's widow? No, I didn't see that. Did you just send that to me? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll see if I can find that. Sorry, I don't sing very well, so you're not getting a song when the stream started. Let me check. Which did you send it to D Reviewer or the other one? All right, that's taken forever to load. So what else is going on out there? What comics you guys been reading? Anything? You sent it to both? Okay. Give me 1 second. I don't think that's you. That's an old lady. Are you an old lady? Thank you guys for retweeting and hitting like. And if you're new here, hit like and subscribe so you can be apprised of all the awesomeness to come. I'm not seeing it. Tag on Twitter. I didn't DM it. Oh. Yeah, it's not showing it to me for some reason. My system's running a little crazy today, too, so that's probably part of it. So I just did 10 reviews that are finished. A couple of them will be going live later tonight. And so I should be getting back on track with getting things actually out. But I don't hate Disney or anything. I'm just really disappointed in the way they're doing things. Because they have a lot of great stuff that they could be doing. It's just sad that they're really screwing the pooch. Like, Star Wars and Marvel should be a cash cow for them. Oh, which one's your favorite so far, Evolved? What's your favorite manga? So you told me about a few of them, but yeah, I really haven't gotten around to them. I'm way behind on my comics. Way behind. Yeah, I'm sorry, Oki. I'm not seeing it in dead air, so pretty boring. She's mad about it. Oh, I'm not surprised that she's upset about it because he's not getting any money for that, and they're just gonna use it without throwing anything to him. It's really sad. She seems like a fairly angry person, though. Like, she's very quick to get angry on the internet. So that's always disappointing to see. But yeah, I'm not surprised if DC's used it as art. And I get it. I know they showed some publicity art for the new what's it called? Milestone Reboot, and that does not look like a very good book. I think I talked about it last week where Static is now going to get his powers at a Black Lives Matter rally instead of the original origin. So they decided to get more political than they have in the past with that, which it was fairly political previously. But Milestone had some good books, and it looks like they're going to get real woke. Of course, it's environmental impact. That's dumb. Yeah, they got rid of the annual passes at the Disney park, which I thought was really shocking because if you piss off the locals, and that's who's usually buying the annual passes, it's mostly people that live in the area. You're going to lose a lot of revenue from people going in and buying stuff at the park, and you're going to make the locals angry, so they're not going to be very nice to your guests when they come in. So I think that's a really dumb move on their part. Oh, webcomics. I just can't read webcomics. As long as you're enjoying it, though, good thing. Yeah, Pete, subtlety is the lost art these days. See, they could have implied it without directly stating it. It would have been way more effective because then if things fall out of favor, they could backpedal on it or revise it as things go on. But they don't think like that. They think only in the terms of the immediate cash grab and the indoctrination effort. Been into board games more than comics lately. Yeah, there's some great board games out there. Yeah, exactly. Concession stands is where the money's at for places like theme parks. Just like movie theaters, they make all their money off the food that you're going to buy and the trinkets. Disney's the same way. They're charging you exorbitant amounts of money for some of that garbage. They could at least like humor the locals so that they have a stream of employee pools and good positive press from the locals. So word of mouth is a big deal with things like this. Yeah, exactly, BG. They could decide to start taking away some tax credits or start charging taxes. There was a movie theater near my hometown that had it was a newer one. It had like 16 or 24 screens, and they decided to have a movie theater tax in town. That was the only movie theater in town. So it was because the tax only applied to places with more than 5 screens. So that was the only place they could have taxed, and it was a 75-cent tax. It put them out of business. They couldn't afford that. It was too much. Their ticket prices had to skyrocket. It was ridiculous. Exactly, Okie. You sell one at cost, and you make it up on everything else. It's called a loss leader in retail. So that's why you'll see something for a ridiculous sale, like 50 cents for this box of cereal or whatever. That brings you in, and then they sell you other merchandise while you're there. That's the plan. They're not thinking like they should be for sales purposes. They're just getting greedy with it. That's such a great story, even though another one came out today. I'm itching to get the next chapter. Well, that's always a good sign, Evolved. Serialized stuff should make you want to get the next chapter. And unfortunately, that is a concept lost on a lot of people these days that work in the entertainment industry. It's really sad. It's really sad. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap it up here. I have to eat dinner, and I'm to the point where I'm going to start babbling about the comics I've been reading, and I need that for the reviews so that you'll watch those on the other channel. They need cash. Yeah. Yeah, Okie, that was a great time to buy stuff because you could get really good deals. Yeah, they have to pay their bills and you want a good deal. It's a win-win. They move product and you get a cool item. There's some really good board games out there that you could get though. If you see a copy of Zombicide and you got a group of people you can play with, that's a great game. Especially Green Horde. I like that one a lot. Black Plague is the other good one. I know they have a new one out, but Black Plague was great. And Black Plague and Green Hell are compatible. Also, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles board game was pretty good. Oh yeah, statues and figurines. Those things don't sell well to begin with. I had a couple at my comic shop, and those things sat there collecting dust forever. I even insisted if somebody wanted to order one, they had to put a down payment on it. Because if I got stuck with that thing, I was not eating $200 because you wanted to look at it and not buy it. Those things are ridiculously overpriced. Even the $50 ones, way overpriced. But they are really cool to own. But that's why I don't own any of them anymore. They're too expensive for me. But all right, guys, thank you all for coming and listening. It's greatly appreciated. Links to my other channel is down in the description on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute. I also do have Roll for Sanity as my other channel on YouTube, and it is also on Rumble now. I'm still trying to update everything and get more videos up. So hopefully I'll get that sorted soon. But thanks for coming out, everybody. Greatly appreciated. And thank you for the donations. You guys are awesome. And I will see you on the next one.